Hi there, stampers and crafters. My name is Tami White from stampwithtami.com. And today I'm going to show you how to make this super gorgeous lighthouse card. I'll show you how to do this gorgeous shading effect using a blender pen of all things. This is a surprisingly easy card to make and it is such a wow. All right, let's get started. Here is our card up close. It is amazing. So cool. To create this card, I used the Stampin' Up! High Tide stamp set and coordinated it with the Serene Scenery designer paper, which is some realistic background designer paper that is just phenomenal. I used this simulated wood paper for the background. It really pulls everything together. You can purchase all of these supplies that I'm using today in my online store and download a free PDF with all of the measurements and get more details on this card and the products on my blog simply by going to the URL in the description of this video. If you're on Facebook, that URL is above. If you're on YouTube, it is below. The High Tide stamp set is a two-step stamp set, which means two or more of these pieces fit together. For example, these two lighthouses can be used separately, but they also can be used together for a 3D effect when you stamp one on top of the other in different colors, which is what I'm going to do right now. I'm starting with the shadowed outline image and the archival black ink pad from Stampin' Up! We'll just ink that up. And that will be stamped towards the left. I love these photopolymer stamps because you can see right through them. Makes lining everything up so easy. And while we've got the black out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp our words. Let hope be your lighthouse beckoning you through stormy skies. Beautiful saying. For the second step in this lighthouse, I'm going to take some real red and some soft suede. So I'm going to stamp the bottom section of the lighthouse in the real red and this very tip in the soft suede. So I'm just going to carefully just ink up the bottom. And I just did that without touching that very cap of the lighthouse. And then I'm going to do the same thing here, but only getting the opposite, the cap in the soft suede. So now we have two different colors on the stamp, and we're going to stamp that right over the top. Again, awesome that we can see right through these photopolymer stamps. They are the best. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? So amazing. Next I've got some Always Artichoke, and I'm going to stamp this little grassy, sandy knoll underneath the lighthouse. It even has a cutout in it already to go around the lighthouse, which is pretty stinking cool. So I'm going to stamp that off on our scrap paper so it's a shade lighter, and then line that up. Awesome. And then I'm using this little grass stamp to stamp in some little pieces of grass. Now I'm going to stamp that a couple of times without re-inking it to give the grass a little bit of depth and dimension on the card. And then lastly, I'm going to put a few strands of the grass in the basic black for just a hair more depth. Not too many with the black. I don't want it to be overpowering. I really wanted a little bit of white highlighting in the lighthouse here where the designer paper shows through. So I'm taking some white craft ink and I'm going to just put it in a little piece of plastic. I'm using a lid to an old Brad container, but any plastic will do. Just a couple of drops of this is white craft ink. It's actually a refill from my crafting pad. And a blender pen. And it looks like I threw out my scrap paper too soon. I still want to use that. Okay. So my blender pen, now what I found is when I use this in the craft ink, I am just going to dedicate that tip of this blender pen, and they are double tipped. So just that one tip to this white craft ink forever probably. You could use it in other colors after, but as you can see, it does discolor the tip of the blender pen and hair. But these do come 3 in a pack, so that's 6 tips, 1 pack dedicated to the white. It's all good. So I'm actually just kind of coloring that white right in that little space where I want it. And then did a couple of the highlights from the image. I did go around the grass I'm going to do 2 layers of the white in this one big space. And then a little bit in those 2 little portholes. And then just a few little highlights in the top of the image here. Just following the natural, just the natural shading of this image. Just to add some highlights, I added a few little dots here. Just really makes it pop. And then when you're done, just wipe the tip. Just wipe off that craft ink off the tip. And again, you could use this tip in other colors if you wanted to. It will be discolored a little bit. These do come in a pack of 3 with double tips, so out of 6. If you dedicate one to the white, if you do this with other projects, I always use that same one with the white. This little white, depending on how thick you make that white, is going to take a little bit of extra time to dry. I'm just going to very carefully work around that. I'm going to use some snail to attach these 2 panels together. And then I took some snail on the back just to hold this linen thread. And we're just going to crisscross it across the front, maybe a little bit lower than that, and then just use the snail to hold it down. So let's push it down just a little bit. There we go. And some Stampin' dimensionals on the back of that. Pop it up on a white card base. You could do a white card base, or you could use the Stampin' Up! Note cards and envelopes as well. Beautiful, beautiful card. Oh, just gorgeous. I think this is my new favorite. You can get the free PDF on my blog that contains all of the dimensions, and you can purchase all of these supplies in my online store. Be sure to sign up for my weekly newsletter while you're there too, because I give away free card tutorials every Tuesday. Thanks for joining me today.